It's 2:13 a.m. You're lying in bed, eyes wide open, wondering why you're awake again. You already got up at midnight, then again at 1:30, and now, here you are, still exhausted, still restless, and somehow, still holding it in. You shuffle your way to the bathroom like a man twice your age. The stream is slow, the relief incomplete. And when you get back to bed, sleep slips away from you like a memory you can't catch. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Millions of men over 60 face the same quiet frustration every night. They're not talking about it. Not to their wives, not to their doctors, and certainly not to their friends. Because it feels embarrassing. You're supposed to be aging gracefully, right? So why does it feel like your own body is sabotaging your nights? Most people blame it on aging. That's just what happens when you get older, they say. But what if that's not true? What if the real reason you can't sleep through the night has nothing to do with your age and everything to do with a few habits you picked up decades ago? What if your nighttime trips to the bathroom aren't just a bladder issue, but a message from your prostate, your nervous system, your hormones, all trying to tell you something? What if the solution isn't another pill, but a small shift? Something you can do tonight, right after dinner, that could change everything. In this video, we're going to gently uncover the truth about sleep, prostate pressure, and the 3 natural habits that have helped thousands of men go from 5 nighttime bathroom visits to sleeping 6 hours straight for the first time in years. No embarrassment, no judgment, just real solutions your body is quietly asking for. Let's begin. I'm Dr. Jennifer Berman. For over 25 years, I've worked with men in their 50s, 60s, even well into their 80s, men who were once strong, confident, and full of life, but slowly began losing control of something they never thought would change: their sleep, their energy, and their sense of peace at night. They would come to me defeated, not because they were in pain, but because they were exhausted. Exhausted from waking up every hour, exhausted from hiding it from their wives, exhausted from feeling like they were slipping away from who they used to be. And every time I saw the same pattern. These men weren't broken, they weren't too old, and they certainly didn't need another prescription to cover up the symptoms. What they needed was clarity, real answers, a better understanding of what was happening inside their bodies and how to support it naturally. That's why I'm here with you today. Because whether you're waking up 3 times, 5 times, or more each night, whether you feel like a stranger to your own body, or whether you've just accepted that this is how it's going to be now, I want you to know there's another way. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 3 small science-backed changes you can make tonight, at your dinner table, in your bedtime routine, even in your breathing. That could begin restoring your deep, uninterrupted sleep. These aren't gimmicks. They're not biohacks. They are real, natural, and rooted in medical understanding of how your prostate, your bladder, and your nervous system work, especially after 60. And the best part? You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to change everything. You just need to start, one small shift at a time. So if you've been waking up tired, if you miss the feeling of resting deeply and waking up refreshed, if you're ready for a solution that doesn't come in a bottle, stay with me. Because the next few minutes could be the beginning of a new kind of night. One where you sleep long, sleep deep, and wake up feeling like yourself again. Most men think that better sleep begins in the bedroom, but in my experience, the real work starts hours earlier, right after dinner. By making just a few gentle changes to your evening habits, you can send powerful signals to your bladder, your prostate, and your nervous system. Signals that say, it's okay to rest now. Let's walk through 3 of the most effective changes I recommend to my patients. They're simple, they're natural, and you can start tonight. Habit number 1, the anti-prostate dinner swap. The truth is, many men unknowingly eat foods at night that irritate the bladder and inflame the prostate. Tomato sauces, spicy dishes, cured meats, even that glass of red wine or that after-dinner chocolate. They seem harmless, but they're not. You may not notice the effect during the day, but come nighttime, your bladder does. These foods increase acidity and create mild inflammation in the pelvic area, placing extra pressure on the already sensitive tissue around the prostate. The result? That urgent, half-empty feeling that pulls you out of sleep over and over again. Now here's the good news. One simple dinner shift can ease that pressure almost immediately. Instead of acidic, spicy meals, try this. Steamed leafy greens like spinach or chard, high in magnesium which helps relax muscles, grilled wild salmon or soft tofu, rich in omega-3s that calm inflammation, a side of mashed sweet potato, gentle on digestion, high in potassium to regulate fluid balance. Avoid late-night caffeine, citrus, processed salt, and spicy condiments. Think of this as a prostate-friendly dinner. It doesn't need to be perfect, but the goal is to reduce internal pressure so your bladder doesn't scream for attention while you're trying to rest. Best time to eat. Finish your last meal at least 2.5 to 3 hours before bed. This gives your digestion time to settle and minimizes the chance of nighttime urgency. Habit Number 2, the 10-minute body cooling routine. What if I told you your bladder isn't the only thing waking you up? For many men, the nervous system is also a key player, especially the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight mode. When your body doesn't know how to shift into rest and digest, you stay tense, wired, and hypersensitive to even the slightest bladder signal. That's why I teach my patients a 10-minute nighttime routine designed to calm that system gently, without pills or supplements. Here's how it works. Step 1, warm towel therapy. 3 men. Soak a small towel in warm, not hot, water. Lay it gently over your lower abdomen just above the groin. This encourages blood flow to the pelvic area and relaxes the bladder wall. Step 2, grounded breathing. 4 MEN. Sit comfortably. Inhale slowly for 4 counts. Exhale for 6 counts. Repeat this cycle 10 times. You'll feel your pulse slow, your jaw unclench, your body begin to settle. Step 3, eye light downshift. 3 MEN. Dim the lights. Avoid any screens. Light activates the brain's wake circuits. Darkness lets melatonin rise. This entire routine takes just 10 minutes, but the impact can be profound, especially for men whose brains stay on even when they desperately want to switch off. Best time to do it. Begin this ritual 30 to 45 minutes before you plan to sleep. Habit number 3, the natural sleep elixir. Tart cherry and pumpkin seeds. Let's be honest, many men are skeptical about natural remedies. They've been promised magic fixes before, only to be disappointed. But what I'm about to show you isn't magic. It's biology, with a little help from nature. There are 2 foods I recommend to nearly every patient struggling with nighttime urination and poor sleep. 1. Tart cherry juice, unsweetened. One of the only natural sources of plant-based melatonin, helps the brain transition into deeper, more sustained sleep. Also contains anti-inflammatory compounds that soothe the prostate. 2. Pumpkin seeds, raw, unsalted, rich in tryptophan, a natural precursor to serotonin and melatonin, high in zinc, which helps regulate testosterone and prostate health, contains plant sterols that may reduce prostate swelling. How to use them together. 4 Oz, about half a cup of tart cherry juice, 1 tablespoon of raw pumpkin seeds. Take both 30-60 minutes before bed. You can eat the seeds plain or mix them into a small bowl of plain yogurt if desired. Many of my patients say this tiny ritual becomes their favorite part of the day. It feels nourishing, simple, like they're finally doing something kind for their body again. And over time, usually 2 to 4 weeks, they start noticing changes, fewer nighttime trips, longer stretches of sleep, and best of all, a sense of calm they haven't felt in years. You don't need all 3 of these habits to see results. Even just one can start shifting your sleep pattern in the right direction. But when used together, night after night, They work like a symphony, lowering inflammation, relaxing your nervous system, and supporting the delicate balance of hormones and circulation that allow real rest to return. And this is just the beginning. In the next section, I want to introduce you to someone who thought he had tried everything until he discovered these exact same shifts, and everything changed. His name is Raymond, 67 years old, retired electrical engineer, proud grandfather of 4, and for nearly 2 years, a prisoner of the night. When Raymond first came to see me, he looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. His eyes were heavy, his posture slumped. But it wasn't exhaustion from a long trip or a bad week. It was deeper. "Dr. Berman," he said, "I haven't slept more than 2 hours straight in over a year." Every night he would wake up 4, 5, sometimes 6 times to urinate. Each time he'd shuffle half asleep to the bathroom, stand there hoping for relief, then return to bed, only to lie awake, frustrated watching the ceiling blur into dawn. He had tried everything, saw 2 different urologists, was prescribed pills that helped a little but left him dizzy and groggy the next morning. He cut off fluids early in the evening. He even stopped drinking his beloved chamomile tea, just in case. But nothing truly worked. What struck me most wasn't his frustration. It was the quiet sadness in his voice when he said, "I just don't feel like myself anymore." He avoided road trips with his wife, worried about finding bathrooms. He skipped evenings with friends, afraid he'd be too tired to enjoy them. He even began avoiding intimacy, ashamed of how little energy he had left. This wasn't just a sleep issue, this was a life issue. So we started small. No pills, no complicated protocols, just the 3 natural shifts I've just shared with you. A gentle, prostate-calming dinner, mostly fish, greens, and no acidic sauces. A 10-minute wind-down routine with a warm towel, slow breathing, and dimmed lights. And each night, 4 Oz of tart cherry juice with a spoonful of raw pumpkin seeds. At first, Raymond was skeptical. Can food really change all this? But he agreed to try for 3 weeks. No pressure, just consistency. By week 2, he was already waking up only twice per night. He said it felt like a miracle. By week 4, it was once. Not every night, but most. And one evening, he came back to my clinic smiling in a way I hadn't seen before. He said, "I made it to 5:45 a.m. before I woke up. I hadn't done that since I was 58. His wife noticed the change first, his lighter mood, his laughter coming back, and most of all, the way he started reaching for life again instead of retreating from it. He joined a walking group, took a trip with his family to Oregon, even joked that he had rediscovered Morningwood. And yes, we both laughed. But beneath the laughter was something deeper. Pride. Not in me, not in the plan, but in himself, for taking that first step. You see, Raymond's story isn't rare, but it's rarely told. Too many men suffer silently, believing their nights and their lives are supposed to decline with age. But the body doesn't lose its wisdom. It just needs support. When you give it the right fuel, the right rhythm, the right signals, healing begins. Not overnight, not instantly, but steadily, quietly, from within. Raymond's story isn't about sleep. It's about reclaiming something far more powerful, a sense of control, a sense of calm, a sense of self. And if you're still waking up 4, 5, 6 times a night, if you feel like you're fading, please remember, Raymond started with just one change. You can too. Let's slow down for a moment and look inside your body, because the real reason you're waking up again and again during the night isn't just a small bladder or getting older. It's something far more fixable if you understand what's truly going on. Let's start with your prostate. After age 50, most men begin to experience a natural growth of the prostate gland. This isn't cancer. It's called benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. In plain terms, the prostate gets a little bigger, And because it wraps around the urethra, the tube where urine flows out, even a small swelling can press on the bladder and trigger frequent urges to urinate. Imagine your bladder like a small balloon and your prostate like a soft hand gently squeezing it from below. It doesn't hurt, but it changes the pressure. So even a few drops of urine feel like an emergency. But here's the twist. It's not just the prostate. Your nervous system plays a massive role too. See, when we're younger, our bodies shift smoothly from day mode to night mode. Our sympathetic nervous system, the one that keeps us alert, slows down, and our parasympathetic system, the one that helps us relax, takes over. But for men over 60, especially under stress or inflammation, this switch gets stuck. The body stays tense, even when it's trying to rest. Your muscles stay tight. Your bladder stays alert. Your mind stays half awake. This means that tiny bladder signals feel louder than they should. So instead of sleeping through the night, you wake up every time a trickle forms. And it gets worse if your hormones are out of balance. Testosterone doesn't just affect libido. It helps regulate sleep, maintain bladder tone, and reduce inflammation in the prostate. But with age, testosterone drops, sometimes sharply. That's why some men notice not just more urination, but less energy, brain fog, and even low mood. The body is out of sync, and when you combine a slightly enlarged prostate, a hyperactive nervous system, low testosterone, and nighttime habits that irritate the bladder, you get the perfect storm: multiple bathroom trips, restless sleep, and a slow drain on your confidence and strength. Now here's the hope. Your body is still brilliant. It still produces melatonin, the sleep hormone. It still makes nitric oxide, the molecule that relaxes blood vessels and improves bladder function. It still wants to find balance, but it needs your help. When you eat tart cherry juice, you support melatonin. When you breathe slowly before bed, you reset the nervous system. When you skip acidic dinners, you ease pressure on the bladder. When you eat pumpkin seeds, you feed zinc and tryptophan, nutrients that help your hormones stay steady. This isn't about hacking your body. It's about listening to it. The symptoms you feel, urgency, light sleep, fatigue, are not signs of failure. They're messages. And when you respond with care, with consistency, and with the right support, your body begins to restore the very functions you thought were gone: sleep, stamina, stillness. And that's where healing begins. I want to tell you something that most doctors won't say. If you've been struggling with sleep for months, if your nights feel broken, if your energy fades by 10 a.m. and your evenings feel like a fight, it's not your fault. You weren't taught how your prostate affects your sleep. No one explained how small dinner choices could echo through the night. You weren't given a blueprint for aging with strength and clarity. But that changes today, because what matters now isn't how long you've struggled. It's what you're willing to try, starting tonight. You don't need to do all 3 habits at once. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to take one step. Maybe tonight you try warm towel breathing for 5 minutes. Maybe you swap your dinner sauce for something gentler. Maybe you skip the wine or drink water a little earlier. Or maybe you go to bed with a small glass of tart cherry juice and a few pumpkin seeds. That's enough. That's where the healing begins. Let me tell you about someone else, Gregory. He was 72 when we met. A retired teacher, kind, sharp, but constantly tired. He'd tell me, "I used to love mornings. Now I dread them. I wake up more exhausted than when I went to bed." We didn't start with big changes, just one: a short walk after dinner and half an avocado on whole grain toast to replace his nightly cheese plate. That was it. And 2 weeks in, he sent me an email that said, "Dr. Berman, I slept from 10:30 to 4:45 without waking up. That hasn't happened in 10 years. I nearly cried when I realized what I'd been missing." This isn't a miracle story. This is the story of what happens when a man gives himself permission to try again. You've likely spent decades taking care of others, your work, your family. You carried responsibilities, solved problems, stayed strong for everyone else. Now it's time to turn some of that care back toward yourself, not out of vanity, not out of fear, but because you deserve peace too. You deserve to sleep without interruption. You deserve mornings that begin with energy, not frustration. You deserve to feel like yourself again, not some version of who you used to be. And no matter what anyone says, it's not too late. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's been waiting for you to listen, to respond, to begin. And when you do, when you take that first gentle step, the results may surprise you. Not overnight, but over time. One choice, one evening, one quiet victory at a time. So tonight, do something kind for your body, not because you have to, but because you're worth it. Sleep is not a luxury. It's not a reward. It's a birthright. And it's time to claim it again. If something in this video spoke to you, if even one sentence felt like it was describing your night, then maybe this isn't just information. Maybe it's your starting point. Maybe tonight is the first night you go to bed with a little more clarity and a little less frustration. If this helped you, I'd be honored if you'd leave a comment below. Just type the word sleep so I know you're with me. And if you feel like sharing more, how many times you're waking up, what you've tried, what's worked or hasn't, please do. Your words might be the nudge another man needs to take his first step, because you're not alone in this. You never were. There are thousands of men watching this right now in the same boat, tired, quietly discouraged, wondering if it'll ever get better, and just like you, they deserve better nights, better sleep, better mornings, better days. If you'd like to support this message, please give this video a like. It helps the message reach someone else who may be struggling in silence. And if you want more honest, practical tools for men's health after 60, without hype, without pressure, subscribe to this channel. Every week, I share science-backed ways to restore your energy, intimacy, and confidence. In the next video, I'll be showing you a 4-minute bladder massage you can do before bed to help calm nighttime urgency and reduce wake-ups. It's simple, drug-free, and you can do it lying down. Until then, I want to leave you with this. You are not broken. You are not just old. You are a man whose body is asking for help in the only language it knows: symptoms, discomfort, disrupted sleep. And now you have a way to respond with care, with wisdom, and with hope. Your next chapter doesn't begin in a clinic. It begins at your dinner table, in your bedtime routine, in a single quiet moment where you choose to say, "I'm ready to feel like myself again." And trust me, you still can. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing yourself. And thank you for showing up tonight and every night after. Sleep well, you've earned it.